Next, Sudip will present his midterm PBL report and project proposal.
Good afternoon, Professor. Good afternoon, my friends. I'm going to present my PBL note of April. First part is just my perception, so I would like to skip this one, this first part. So,
not all.
Yeah, I'll mention this one. So, about satisfaction, I'm satisfied from this PBL report because it helps me a lot to go back and what we learned, what did we do. These everything I could revise everything, so it helps, and that's why I'm satisfied. So, as a colleague, I choose Shave because he helped me a lot for SIS. I was new for SIS, I didn't know at all, so he helped me a lot for finding codes and how to solve the problems, as well as other things also. And translating code into English also, he helped me a lot. And the question that Professor has uploaded about our PBL report, total, it says that my total participation is 62, and things that I uploaded, I mentioned about early decomposition and parent Frobenius theorem. Actually, Professor, he always asks me about this theorem, so this is the my best part which I uploaded at first. So in this theorem we find out dominant eigenvalue. That's the main theme of this theorem. And I try to summarize one paper which was uploaded by Professor, reference paper. It was about matrix animation and polar decomposition. And I try to write some notes about these papers. Actually, this paper is about the rotation in graphics and rotation. In rotation, they use 2x2 matrix and 3x3 matrix, and they don't use other matrices. And I asked that question in Q&A, and Nagib and Professor, they replied. And according to them, we don't use bigger matrix in this graphics because they don't reflect exact figure in rotation. So that's why we use 2x2 and 3x3 matrices. So far I have tried to include what we have learned in our 6 weeks. So starting through introduction and undergraduate mathematics review, where we reviewed about the simple definitions of matrices and how to find out eigenvalue and what is characteristic equation, lower triangle matrix, those things. And about LU decomposition, the main theme is in LU decomposition of matrix, A is a product of lower triangular matrix and upper triangular matrix. That is the main theme of LU decomposition. As well as I would like to go more about this one week 2. So decomposition, this is the main idea, where and power method. In power method, this is the main idea to find out the largest eigenvalue, and I mean the dominant eigenvalue, which also includes that same theorem, Perrivian theorem. And Graham-Smith organizational process, that we find out the projection from here. This is the main formula. We find out the corresponding eigenvectors and we use here. Similarly, QR decomposition. In QR decomposition, if given matrix A, its QR decomposition can be written as A equals to QR, where R is upper triangular matrix and Q is orthogonal matrix. Similarly, we find out QT, that is transpose of Q matrix. And least square matrix. Actually this process we use when the equation AX equals to B has no solution. So it gives us exact solution and it minimizes our errors in projection. Jordan canonical form and algebra and tensor. Similarly, matrix and Google search engines. Matrix, actually, the eigenvalue is the main thing that Google has used, and professor also uploaded one paper about thousand of eigenvalues behind a Google search engine. So Google PageRank algorithm, and this is the main formula that they use in algorithm to calculate their data and eigenvalue, and they also use corresponding largest eigenvalue. So far we also cover singular value decomposition. In singular value decomposition, if the given matrix A, then we write in U the product of UES V transpose, where I have mentioned all the steps like UTU is I, the column of U are orthogonal eigenvector of A transpose. Also we use here Gram-Schmidt projection, same thing that I mentioned above, this projection, and this will give us upper triangular matrix, orthogonal matrix, and lower orthogonal matrix. So and the next thing is dot diagram. We use A minus lambda I to the power Rx equals to 0. That is the main idea professor told in class. From there we find out dot product for each diagram. And generalized eigenvector in Jordan canonical form. For example, if 3 by 3 is the Jordan canonical one block, if one corresponding eigenvector is given, then to find out another two eigenvectors, we use this formula. So far I have tried to summarize our classes also, like summary of class 1, summary of class 2, till summary of, which I also uploaded in Q&A, summary of class 4.1, 4.2, all till class 6. Here we learn about the exponential form of Jordan canonical form, and this is the main idea. Here, if we have Jordan blocks with generalized eigenvector, then we can find out exponential form by above relation, where the main idea of e to the power a is the upper part of our triangular matrix depends on eigenvalue. So
I told you better to spelling check.
Yeah.
I expect you will do on
Yeah.
your final PBL report.
Yeah, sure, Professor. Yeah. And homework 1, self-introduction. Similarly, homework 2 is geology decomposition. This is the website that we can go from here, and these are the codes that I use. And I couldn't upload the file exactly, so I just so, and true and false, some question that we did in second class. Also professor uploaded answer, I have mentioned down. And calculus problem, I just try to find out simple question in related question. Yeah. Simple question, and that is the not says actually other online tool I use on. So if you just keep that equation, then it will give your solution, like nearest value of the exact point. And graph also it will give that same web page also graph. And similarly for related to engineering, I try to find out inequality equation by same online tool. Yeah, very simple. So about algebraic problem, I try to find out the value decomposition by says. Yeah, matrix problem. Yeah. And keyword decomposition, same. Yeah, by says I use this code like to find out Gram-Schmidt orthonormal and transpose of A, eigenvector, eigenvalue. And related to SVD, I try to use another online tool, and it gave me like matrix transpose and determinant, rank, matrix inverse. Very.
What's the maximum size that this tool can handle?
it wasn't mentioned, so yeah. Yeah, it wasn't, but it was easy to recognize the term very easily. Yeah, like that tool is very easy. If you just put the matrix, then it will give you everything. There is a button like a singular value decomposition, eigenvalue, eigenvector. You just tick all the buttons, then it will give all answer. So this is the same homework from SAGE, and this one is I couldn't solve this problem, Jordan canonical form, and Nagib, he tried to edit my all homeworks, so that I was able to find out eigenvalue, corresponding eigenvectors, and like this, and the matrix form, Jordan canonical form. So I just try to take the picture and upload it here. And the Perron-Frobenius theorem, actually, this is the main idea of this theorem is to find out the dominant eigenvalue, and which we can use in power method, household problem. Yeah. Okay. So I'd like to discuss about Q&A participation. About early decomposition, I wrote a small summary, and professor also tried to add more. He tried to give me this Wikipedia link, so that I was able to understand what is early decomposition, the main thing, and reply to homework 1. And for Nagib, I was wondering about question 12 like this one, and he gave me this kind of examples, practical examples. And so that I mentioned before about the largest eigenvalue, I tried to find out this one, how about in yeah. Yeah, I just a little bit skip because time is also not there, so yeah, so actually the about that same thing about general eigenvector. After uploading the picture, that I try to ask about like if can you find out the randomly or not, and Nagib, he gave me proper example and I also try to upload about AlphaGo versus human about articles and some references down like this, and added keyword decomposite definition and reply to professor instruction, and about SAGE code, like this one is Lagava gave this non-zero vectors always exist and this kind of problem, so we try, Nagib, we try to answer these things. I asked keyword code for keyword decomposition, and Sawe replied with these all codes, so he helped me a lot. I would like to thank him. Yeah. So about summary also, he tried to add more what I missed to summarize the classes. And the things that I mentioned above, professor gave some reference paper. I tried to just summarize these papers about animation and polar decomposition, those things after reading the paper. I asked question from paper, and Nagib gave like, professor, I was going through this paper and this, and professor and Nagib, actually Nagib and Sawe, yeah, almost finished, professor. And about I wrote a small relationship about curve fitting and Vandermonde matrix, which was asked by professor. So now I would like to go for my project. So these are my questions. This one. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I have written here like this report is the best way of evaluating our work and activities of our month, and I have come to know about my activities, homework records, and Q&A activities. So
So now you know everything that you have summarized there.
yeah,
So if I ask anything, then you can tell.
yeah, I can. And the instruction that professor, whether we are following instruction or not, whether professor, the professor is giving so many instruction every day, in every class, whether we are following or not, we can find out from the Q&A now. And the thing is, Q&A has always helped me. Asking question, and friends, they replied me, and professor also, he gave me a lot of references. So there isn't any comment or suggestions to improve this report from my side. I have written mentioned like this. So in conclusion, everybody is taking benefits from this system and course. I hope it will be more valuable, informative, and one of the important tool in our learning activities in upcoming days. That is my final note. So my project proposal is, I just try to write something about data mining and motivation. I try to find out something about unsupervised learning. So actually we all are familiar with supervised learning. So my project is going to focus on unsupervised learning, and there are two types of unsupervised learning, and what are the challenges and how can we visualize the data in unsupervised learning. That is the main thing that I'm trying to find out. So yesterday I uploaded one note while finding the papers. It says that in unsupervised learning, for example, if one basket is given with full of fruits, then we separate all the fruits without knowing anything before. Means in supervised learning, you will have some knowledge about separation. For example, in basket there are apples or bananas, then you will be already known about the shape of apples, colors of apples. But in unsupervised learning, you will be unknown. So you will see the things and you will separate them by in your way. So that is unsupervised learning. So still I'm new in this topic, so I found same chapter in that book which professor has uploaded. I mentioned in references this book, last chapter. So I have to go through this chapter and I'll try to find out more papers and I can ask some guidance from professor. Yeah, that's all.
The title is too wide.
Why?
Narrow your title,
Yeah.
the subjects that you want to do, and you better concentrate on specified subject that you can find some new and interesting things, not just to summarize and explain it. Okay. Any questions or comments on Sudip's presentation?